Scale, exit, repeat.
AI to market, scale, and sell. Today, we're talking about how to optimize your company using AI with Chick. As the room fills in here, I'm just going to play the LLM for a minute or two that is on our newsletter. This is our monthly newsletter. And you can go to startup.club and sign up to that newsletter, sign up to the email. I'm just going to play that as the room fills in. Just came out about an hour and a half ago.
Imagine you've built an e-commerce company completely from scratch. You just pour your entire life into it. And eventually you cross $40 million in revenue.
Which is huge.
No, it's massive. And you have this incredible valuation sitting right there on the table. It's nearly a one-time revenue multiple. So life-changing money. But you look at your growth charts and they are pointing straight up. So you decide to hold on for just one more year to kind of maximize that payout.
It is the most logical instinct in the world, right? Because if the machine is printing money today, you'd think it should just print more tomorrow.
Exactly. But instead of a larger payout, you end up watching your company's value quietly just plummet over the next 12 months.
Even while making more money.
Yes. Even as your operational revenue continues to hit absolute record highs, you held on for the bigger win and you basically lost a fortune. So today, we're unpacking exactly how that happens.
It's a brutal reality check.
Yeah. So that's just the LLM that Mimi puts together for the newsletter, for the Startup Club newsletter. And we come out with it once a month. It truly is a masterclass. And you don't have to read it. You can listen to it in the car, listen to the LLM. I actually like listening to it myself because it sometimes brings in some perspective that I hadn't considered when we put together the newsletter. So today we're going to have George Dubek come on stage. Is that correct, Mimi? I know it's been...
Yes, I'm just sending him an email right now.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah. And we're going to talk about AI and how AI can help transform your business. And he's got a lot of experience in his career. Well, when he comes on stage, we'll talk about him a little bit more. But Michelle, what are you thinking about, like how AI has changed your business even in the last 7 days? Michelle, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I just saw some weird thing
I'm
just hit the
laughing
screen.
right now because when I came in as a moderator, I'm just stepping back here. It said, do you want to post a poll or a survey?
I've never seen this before.
So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do this. So I actually said, are you using AI? Let us know.
All right, I just voted.
I know.
You can vote at the
It's
top of the
very
screen.
cool, very cool. I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. But how have I oh my gosh, my world is moving so fast. Okay. You guys, I should post a profile picture. I'm not 20 years old like Mimi and Kyle. I'm a little bit older, but my world is changing so effing fast right now. I don't know how else to say it. Okay. It is changing so fast. I'm so excited. And the conversations I'm having right now is like, okay, how do we do this in an impactful, meaningful way? That is the question for me. I'm like past the, are you using AI? I'm just going to say, Mimi, Kyle, and I, the whole team, we are using AI, Colin. But the questions are now, how do we use it in a way that makes the most sense? And how do we use it in a way that's impactful? And God, I don't know how to say it. It's like, this is the Wild West right now. And I love the Wild West, okay? I'm a good old Southern girl. I'm a good old Southern girl like Mimi and Southern boy like Kyle. I'm a Southern girl. We're all about it. We're just trying to figure out, like, how do we do it in the most impactful way? But I see that our guest, I think he was Mimi, trying to join. Oh, here he is. George.
There he is, the ultimate networker. So we're so lucky to have this gentleman on stage today. He's going to help us unpack some of his AI theories and hopefully some ideas around networking as well, because life's all about networking and how can you use AI to help you network as well. But George, welcome to Clubhouse. Welcome on stage. We're very excited you're here.
And the mic is in the bottom left, George. They just rechanged the app, so it switched up a little bit.
Oh, did
But
they already? They're confusing me too. Oh, there it is. Bottom left. That's correct. Yeah.
All right, Georgie baby, we can't hear you. Mike, you have to tap on the bottom left.
Oh, there he is.
Awesome. There he is. Party's on now. George is on the stage.
All right. Yeah. Hey, nice to be here with everybody. These are people from all over the world or just a national? Wow.
Yeah. And so just to give you a bit of background here. So it's a live show. It goes into replay on Clubhouse, and then it goes into podcast, and then it turns into an article on startup.club, which will get the front page of Google. So we have a way of amplifying content now that has been like unheard of years ago. Today we do it, and we're able to get some pretty good amplification from these shows. But we love
In
the
other
fact
words,
to have.
we hear you, my friend. This is your global stage. Step up. And we're like interested. We want to hear we have an amazing club here. We want to just engage and understand what's going on with you in AI. But I'll let Colin take the questions.
Yeah, I have quite a long history here because I started my life before technology. I remember the first TV set with a round screen and rabbit ears, and they only had a TV show on Saturday afternoon, which was showing nature, pictures of nature. And there was no TV programming, so that's how far back I go. I went to college with a slide rule and a lead pencil, no calculators. I've been around a long time.
Yeah, and you
All
know
right.
what? It's interesting how sometimes the laws of the universe don't change. What's old again is new again. We had a guest speaker on here who founded Reebok, and he talked about how important reviews were in 1979 and how it launched his company. So these lessons that you've learned in your life, they can be applied today as well. Now, I know you're the ultimate networker. And you also have a great understanding of the AI and how AI can help you build your network. As maybe that's the first question that it hit right away is just like, how can you use AI to build your network?
I'm not really sure if AI can help you build a network. Building a network is a lot of grunt work. It's meeting people, building a database, and then the follow-up is the most difficult thing in today's world because of the lack of consistency with people in today's world. It's very volatile. I grew up where things were more regimented, organized, and structured. And now it's kind of like everybody's doing their own thing, and it's hard to corral anybody. In fact, some of the terms that I never used to be in my life before was a term called ghosting. And I'm sure everybody on this call has experienced ghosting on a regular basis now. That never was heard of before, where people just don't communicate with you for no reason.
All right, George.
Yes.
Let's slow down a little bit here. I'm just going to say from my point of view, and I know Doctor is here as well, and we have our younger friends, Mimi and Kyle. I might not mean to ghost you. Like sometimes it's a massive influx of like messages and emails and all this stuff. Like, I think, oh gosh, don't make me go crazy right now, but I think there's this whole subject. You bring up a very good point. Like, how do we manage and regulate our emotions around this like new paradigm that we have? Because my team this week, I'm just going to tell you, was saying, oh my God, you haven't replied on this issue for 2 weeks. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not ignoring you. You know I don't ignore you. Just like, how do I manage all this information coming at me, George? Like, how do I understand what's important, what's not important? Not that you're not important. I don't know. Colin, help me out here.
I'll just share with you, I'm writing a book called How to Survive and Thrive in the New High-Tech AI World, which is, I'm taking the old school past experience and I'm interfacing now with AI and technology. So I'm sharing with people what I believe is the new strategy. Most people are mentally behind technology, definitely.
Absolutely.
So
I talk to people of all ages, and I'm probably the oldest person here. That's a really valid point. So go, tell us more.
I'm the oldest person, I would imagine. I'm going to be 80 next year. So I would assume that I'm older than probably everybody on this call. Maybe not. But anyway, here's what I've learned. Okay. I used to get, in the past, I had a lot of emotions as a person growing up and so forth, and I'm becoming dehumanized. So I'm minimizing my emotions now because things originally, like when people would ghost me, it would bother me. And now I learned how it doesn't bother me. Like I said, I make excuses for everybody's reason. They're busy, they're whatever, they're this, they're that. So it doesn't emotionally bother me. So what I'm suggesting people do is you're going to have to become more like Dr. Spock. Minimize your emotions and get into more rational, logical thinking because technology is not emotional. Technology is digits and units and evaluations and analytics and facts. So that's where we're
George,
headed.
you're not 80. You don't sound like you're 80.
I will be 80, believe me.
No, I can't even imagine that. Come on.
Yeah, no. Jimmy Buffett said old age is not for sissies and he's dead. It's not fun being old, but I'm adopting to all this technology because I have kids, grandkids, and great grandkids. So I have to keep pace with them. And also in business, I am using technology and I'm involved with a lot of AI companies and I have the digital twins and I make AI movies and I make AI
Wow.
songs and I use all the AI and stuff like that. And that's pretty crazy. But back to networking is really basically developing relationships with people and AI really can't help you do that. You have to meet somebody, you have to follow up with them, and then you have to follow through with them. And then you, over time, a relationship forms, whether you're doing something together or partnering or collaborating or sharing ideas. And that's a time element. So to be honest, AI can't really help you with that
All
kind
right.
of network.
Now, let's, okay. What I say to my team, okay, I'm just going to be very candid here, is AI is not God. So stop the F about it. And you are the boss. So I really am I very strongly feel about it's like how we integrate and implement these things into a business. I know Colin would say, okay, Michelle's like Dr. Spock. I actually am not. But for me, I feel I'm a very optimistic person. And doctors here on the stage with us, I think it's about this mind frame. Like, how do we manage this and quote, provision this into our lives, into our businesses? I'm like extremely optimistic, as I know you are, George. And I'm curious, doctor, you're an expert in this cognitive responses. What's your advice for us? This is not, oh God, the world is ending. Oh gosh, we don't have to do anything. There's this in between thing that I'm really finding that people are struggling with right now, doctor.
Hi, thanks so much. This is a great topic, and it's not unlike the things we were talking about before these LLMs came along, where we were talking about how we're having so many more bits of information per minute per day than we did before. And so that affected, for example, marketing, where you need to have 4 times as many touch points as you used to, et cetera. So I'm going to go back to the thing that I often bring up, and you probably remember this. It goes back to the threat appraisal. It's the problem isn't the information, and it isn't even the pressure. It's that every single thing seems to be almost designed to be a state of urgency for an entrepreneur. It's a pitch deck. It's a competitor update. It's whatever. The person who's emailing you saying, why haven't you gotten back to me? And you're wondering how you're managing your organization and your organizational culture. It's one thing after another. And so again, what's happening to the entrepreneur is their brain is constantly processing threat after threat after threat. Okay. Because it cannot tell the difference between your competitor catching up to you or outpacing you or whatever and being chased down by a tiger. Okay. So that the volume of information is high, yes, but the stakes are even higher now. So this is compounding the problem, and the nervous system reads it as a threat. And so you have this threat state that you cannot think your way out of. Although I really loved what Colin said, because the reframe helps you from getting dysregulated in the first place. So you can't think your way out of the dysregulation once you have the dysregulation because you feel the threat. But what you can do is not allow it to be processed as a threat, which is what Colin is doing by not making excuses and thinking, I'm just saying this. You have to actually believe, because it's probably true, that the reason that person hasn't gotten back to you yet, or this or that or whatever, is because everybody.
Absolutely.
But wait.
And doctor, I'm just going to say, I face this issue. Okay, we're all being very vulnerable
But
here.
it's
My
a
husband.
that if anybody doesn't admit it,
Yes,
why?
like my husband. I'll be like, okay, what are we doing about this or that? He'd be just like, it's 8 o'clock at night and they don't want to talk to me and they're not going to respond to me. Okay. We have to really reframe. I love the word, right? Reframe how we think and process information. Like like I said, I'm going back to AI is our, I don't want to say this. I'm sorry. I'm going to say this. I'm just going to say it is the bitch. They're a bitch. And I try to tell my team, you're the boss and you're a bitch. They're your employee. Just need to reframe how you think about things. I'm like old.
So
I'm like
can I-
old. Okay.
Can I interrupt for a second? Because that
Yes, of
thing that
course.
we're talking about right now, the way that you're saying that is it's triggered something in my head, which is, and this I think answers a little bit of what you're saying. There's a difference. So there's the reframe that we were just talking about, but there's a difference between a threat and an uncertainty. So I heard the uncertainty as you were speaking, Michelle, which is why I said this might be a good place to put that in there. So being able to get your nervous system to be able to make the distinction between uncertainty and threat it's going to go a long way. It's going to be very helpful in preventing the dysregulation in the first place, which you cannot think your way out of. Does that resonate with you at all?
Yes, it does very much for me. I'm a very let's move forward kind of person, but I'm also, as Colin can tell you, I'm also very analytical. I'm not going to blindly trust you. And this is what I'm like struggling with right now is hear people waving their hands, yeah, whatever. But no, we are not going to blindly trust. We need to be the boss. And as you said, regulate here. Like,
Got it. Yeah. All right. George, you've experienced the live clubhouse here, right? And then we invited you here to speak about
George,
your
thank you.
internet
Thank
marketing.
you so much, George, for joining us.
Yeah. So let's just try to
Yeah.
get back on track here a little bit. I know
Okay.
we went a little deep right away, but could George, again, let's go back to you. And if you can talk a little bit about, look, there is a lot of reluctance in the world of an AI. I can see from the vote we have up here, about 5% of the audience, they don't use AI at all. It's obviously a very AI friendly
Well, I would
audience.
say
but-
confusion and anxiety.
Yeah.
It's
All right.
not, we're all very anxious. Like, how do we fit into this paradigm? That's for me. I think I'm right here. I'm just like, I am not
Got it.
like against it.
Yep.
Just how do I
All right,
incorporate?
let's give George a chance here, Michelle. Let's give George a chance. Okay.
All right, just give
George.
George a chance.
Yes.
Give Peace a chance. We're going to give George a chance. Come on, my friend. Go for it right now.
All right. Just like I said, I'm writing the book on my own experience in interfacing with all this technology because I didn't have it growing up and now I'm morphing into it. But one of the things that I'm learning about myself personally is, as I mentioned before, minimize emotions, become more rational, logical. I'm detoxing all my past beliefs, everything that I learned and that I believed, whatever growing up, I'm wiping it out like on a white erase board. You put all your beliefs up there and just wipe them out and start fresh. So I'm looking at this as the brave new world. George Dubeck, 80 years old, is now starting fresh. I don't believe in anything in the past. It's all gone. I don't give a crap about all the bullshit that I believed or somebody put in my head or whatever it is. Whether
George,
it's
that's amazing. I
and
love
I'm-
that
and-
mindset. You are amazing.
that's what I'm doing because I feel that, again, I'm becoming dehumanized also. Believe it or not, my emotions, I am learning to eliminate or control them to the point where, do you ever see on the social media, they'll show these clips like, here's 1985, and they'll show the people dressed, and they'll show the products in 1985, and they'll show the TV shows. Do you ever see those little clips on social media?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah.
or like 1995 or 1978. Like when I see those, it brings me back to what I felt like then, and it feels totally different today. It doesn't feel like that. So I'm saying, why is that? Because it's not like that, and so I have to adjust, and that's what I'm doing. And I'm writing the book to show people that we have to do this. We have to upgrade our own brains to be able to function properly with this new world we're going to face.
Because it's not
Awesome.
natural. It's not natural for,
No,
for everyone
it
to do
isn't.
that, is it?
In fact, did you ever study the Amish culture? Go back and study a culture that has stayed the same for decades. They're non-technical and they have the same concept and they go decade after decade doing the same thing. It's amazing. They don't advance progressively. And they are what I call a we culture. They focus on the community, their families, their friends, and their kids. Our culture, I've grown up in it, and I say our culture is a me culture. I grew up my whole life focused on me. When I wake up, I'm thinking about what am I going to do to make myself happy or make more money or do this or do that.
Oh my God. It's so funny that you just said this. I just said to my husband, I just want to focus on being happy. It's such like a powerful statement, George. What you're saying is so powerful.
The other phrase, though, is again, happiness is an illusion. That's an up and down thing. I use the word content. I would rather be content with what I'm doing in my life than happy, because I could be happy today and then sad tonight. What makes you happy? You can't keep happiness on.
Okay, that's an amazing point. And I've actually read a lot of, as I know you're an expert in this, it's actually incremental. It's not, oh, there's an end goal. It actually is just, do you feel better today or not? That is so powerful, George. What you're saying is so powerful.
That's what I'm trying to achieve, these things, working on my own brain and not allowing the past again to dictate what I'm going to do forward. Because again, I just believe that people are going to have to make some major shifts in their mindset in order to, again, interface properly and be successful and thrive with technology and AI. We just have to look at it in a different way, not the old ways. These are just things that I'm developing and thinking and strategizing. Also, here's another thing that's going to be fascinating. In my mind, we're going to start reviewing each other as units instead of people. For example, like when you meet somebody, how do you know on a credibility level how good of a person they are? They might be successful in business, but how do you know about them personally? So what I'm looking at is a grading scale with the analytics and technology we have today. So as you go through life, you get points for doing good things and you get negative points for doing bad things. So when I meet somebody, I'm going to ask them, how many points do you got? And they have to tell me how many points that they have and vice versa. So now you can assess somebody's credibility instantly with technology. So these are some of the things that we're going to be facing in the near future.
Can I chime in on that a little bit?
Pardon me?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Because I've heard this concept before. And you have friends that do bad things to other people and then get along with you and vice versa, right? So what I mean that there's no such thing as perfection from each individual. And the connection between people is not necessarily based on a point system, and it cannot be based on a point system. As if that would ever to happen, you would trust the wrong people, because it doesn't mean you have synergy with them. It doesn't mean they'll do good business with you. Because a lot of times in business, it's not necessarily if the person is bad or good per se. It's if your synergies align and if you guys see the same vision and understand your vision together, right? Because a lot of people go into business together thinking they align and because they get along, but then when the business views come along, they misunderstand each other because they're saying the same thing but have different ideologies. So when it comes to these point systems, there's no possible way for it to actually work psychologically.
No system is ever perfect. In fact, somebody just told me today that in China, they have a social rating system for their people. And I was going to start looking that up. But they told me that they're giving points to people on a social level in China, which is interesting. So it's not a perfect system, but it's better than what we have now because, again, I can meet somebody in business that's making a lot of money and they're running a successful business, but in their personal life, they're a disaster. So in my essence, I don't want to do business with somebody, even if we align and we're synergistic, and they're not really a good person. So I want to really do business with the best possible people I can in all levels.
What's a good
Not
person?
just
But what's a
business.
good person?
That's what the analytics are going to eventually tell us.
That good person to you might be a bad person towards me. If you
Well,
look at every single individual, everybody's got friends, and that's every single human being, every single person on stage in this room right now has people they like. There's people that they don't like. So based on your ideology, who's going to be right for you based on the point system where it's a balanced point? Because if somebody's a criminal, we already know that. We already have that system. If somebody's cheating you, you can see if somebody's cheating you. We can base it off of these things. But when it comes to what's happening in their personal life and business and integrating that, you're putting yourself into such a small group of people that it just
Okay, you want to use a perfect example? How about your credit score? You realize that your whole life revolves around a credit score, not your personal dealings or your personal abilities. You get this credit score, and boom, people financially, they judge you on your credit score, right? That's not perfect. That's a flawed system. That's horrible. You can't get a loan if you got a bad credit score. So what I'm saying is that a system can be perfected. You can eventually perfect it where it's very accurate. But right now, you're right. What you're saying is correct. We don't have an accurate system, but it can be developed. We have the technology to do that.
All right. I'm hearing what you're both saying, and I see sides of both of those really this is hard, right? And credit scores are not perfect. I worked in that industry for a while. But Colin, I want to come back to you, kind of help us get back on path.
I think
here?
we don't want to go. It's an interesting episode because we didn't go down the path that I thought we were originally going to go down, which is more about let's learn from George and some of the techniques that you've thought about and developed and you're writing about for your new book around networking and expanded network. But obviously reviews and your reputation is very important. And ironically, the newsletter that went out at noon today at startup.club was all about reviews. And every entrepreneur is being monitored and reviewed. My book is a 4.8 on Amazon and it's got 250 reviews. And so everybody's looking at that and they're measuring and making decisions based on, okay, that looks pretty good. So maybe I'll buy his book. Or they're reviewing me for my Uber rating, or I'm being reviewed for my Airbnbs are all being reviewed. We own Airbnbs here as well. So it's interesting you're bringing up this, George, this idea of reputation. And I think as long as we just live the best life we can possibly live, then the analytics will probably show that. What do you think, George?
Here's another good point. The motivation to get a good score. Think about it right now. What is your motivation to develop credibility other than personal? Oh yeah, I want to do good. I want to have a good family. I want to do good in business. But can you imagine if we had a competition about getting the best score you can? So you're going to work really hard to do good things, right? Wouldn't you want your score to be as high as possible? So in other words, when you get out of high school, you say, man, if I don't do these good things, if I do bad things, I'm going to have a horrible score and everybody's going to know it. They're not going to just judge me, or I'm not going to be able to buffalo somebody. So what I'm saying is this is also a tremendous motivational factor for people as they go through life to do everything possible that they can to get the highest score possible, which will give them tremendous benefits. So does that make sense?
No, I think that does.
I think this reminds me of a TV show we watch, Colin.
Black Mirror.
Where, yes. There
It's
you
going to
go.
be scary. I can see where Bucky's coming from.
I'm a little bit scared because there's some of us that we're not like so social. I love hanging out and having fun with all my friends and family, but I'm not like a person that wants to brag or pander to people. So I just see so many issues here, and I'm just like trying to assimilate all this information.
All right, so let's hear from a top 5% Karma member, Magnificent, here on stage. It's funny how this app is rating everybody now. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. But I just think you got to be your authentic self. And but Magnificent, thank you for being patient. And if you have a question for George or a thought on this topic. That's over to you, Magnificent. If not, we'll jump over to, I know, Ducky, you had a chance to go. We got another top 5% karma with America's, who's that? Was that America? What's her name?
America's Supermom. And
America's
it's been a while.
Supermom. Oh, I love that.
Thanks. It's been a while since I've been in your space, but this is a wonderful conversation around. One of the things that I was just getting from what I heard is that we can't forget about the human aspect. I love what George was saying regarding the happiness and how we have to be more intentional with the things that we can do. And that's one of the problems with AI. AI is still something that we are trying to, or that we control it. It should be that we control it. But a lot of times with a lot of tools, you wonder who actually is in control. You think about posting schedules or certain things that you do with your business. Let's just take social media. Social media is designed to be a tool to help you be in front of more people. But if you're not careful, it can start dictating your day if you don't have systems in place. So I think the thing that I'm getting from this conversation is really maintaining a level of control for yourself with entering into using some of these tools that can end up mastering you rather than you mastering them. That's pretty much my thought.
I can honestly say that these tools have taken over my brain. The cell phone has rewired my brain significantly. It's amazing. I can't listen to a whole song all the way through. I don't know if anybody else has that experience, but because on the cell phone, they have these little clips of songs like 15, 20 seconds. So just that alone, when I listen to a song, after 15, 20 seconds, I want to listen to another song. I can't even focus on something for a long period of time. I need constant stimulation or re-stimulation. And that's crazy.
That's why I think it's so important. This is just me on a personal level with incorporating journaling in your day, because critical thinking is something that is almost extinct because we have been conditioned to believe that these things are convenient, they save us time, and it just goes on. Again, the marketing side, that's what I got my degree in. And we just give our power away. We give our control away under the guise of it being convenient. And later on, we don't know what to do if we don't pick up a phone or turn on a TV or radio for somebody to tell us what to do.
Do you journal with ChatGPT or do you journal on a piece of paper?
I'm old school, piece of paper. I still have
it. So you're a super mom. That's a great question. And I'm going to really have a question for both you and George, is because this week was interesting for me. I had a bit of a sort of bad week of communication with my lawyer and my lawyers and accountants. I told my accountants I wanted to automate all the bookkeeping, and they said, no, AI is the blah, blah, blah. And they all pushed back. And I told my lawyers that I'd done a PPM, private placement memorandum, and I said, no, this is it. It's good. We're going to run with it. We don't need to pay 20 grand to have you guys draft it. I just need you guys to file with the SEC, blah, blah, blah. So point is, I'm finding there's a lot of pushback on AI. You got 9 children, supermom, and George, you're obviously got grandchildren, great-grandchildren. Is the message here to run from AI or to embrace it? And so let's start with you, George, and then I'll jump down to you, supermom, okay?
I don't think we have a choice. Just like I don't like the internet. I don't like cell phones. I don't like AI. I don't like any of it. And I use it constantly and it's rewired my brain. So again, it just consumed me. I didn't choose it. It just happened and I'm part of it. I guess I'd have to go live on a mountaintop all by myself and shut off all electricity and become Amish. And then it wouldn't affect me. But so I'm in the world and I'm in the middle of it and I have to use it. And that's why I'm adapting to it the best I can.
And I'm like thinking I'm going to pay for a paid membership for ChatGPT for all my nephews and nieces. I have 20 of them. So I'm like, I want my family to be successful. I want to surround everyone with this technology. And I don't want this $20 a month to be a limitation. And there's the haves and have-nots of the AI world. And what are you doing are you trying to protect your children, Supermom, from AI, or are you trying to get them to use paper and writing? And my wife and I own a Montessori school, by the way. It's very old school, just very old school, right? So they learn cursive and they don't have computers till they're in grade 2 or 3. So we actually held technology back at the school. But I don't know. You got 9 kids, Mom.
I actually have 15
15
kids,
kids.
9
Okay.
of them. Yeah, 9 are just at home, and I have 7 grandchildren. And I believe that we should never do anything out of fear. So I think it's important to be aware of what's going on, and you don't want to alienate. That's another thing with mental health. That's what I talk about. If you alienate a child from what's going on with everyone else, they're not always mature enough to discuss their argument or belief with other people that may be their peers. And so it could be a problem with that. So I think being able to immerse them into AI is a good thing. However, it's just like having little opportunities because it doesn't take a lot. All it takes is 15 minutes. If you take 15 minutes a day and read, you're going to be a lot better off by the end of the month. So writing, journaling, it doesn't have to be a long time. 15 minutes, taking time to get off of the app, because a lot of it also is their creativity has been hijacked because they haven't had that time to have the freedom to be bored or to think about problem solving. They just pick up a device and they get the answer immediately or something like that. So if we don't train them in how they can problem solve, that's just going to be the issue. We have really hijacked our thinking to where it's just, oh, everybody's doing this. Nobody questions stuff. It's, oh, the crowd is going this way. Okay, let me get my shoes on. It's crazy. So I think basic things we just really need to incorporate making a meal. We got fast food. You got DoorDash. Who is sitting at home cooking, even baking cookies with kids anymore? So I don't know. That's my thing. But I think you shouldn't be afraid of it, but you should be engaged in it with your kids. I took a course for 9 weeks because although I don't really prefer to have an AI, I think really it's crazy. Some of these ads, you think it's real people and it's AI. But I just feel like we have to be aware and present with what's going on, but you still maintain your own level of control.
Yeah, George, I think you said something very smart like there as well about, look, the reality is we have to adapt, we have to change, we have to embrace it, or we're going to fall behind. What do you think?
Yeah, that's definitely it. Like I said, I'm doing everything I can to change my mindset to start accepting it and not complain about it or think it's negative and learn how to use it effectively. And like you said, teach your kids and grandkids and get them up to speed so they're not left behind. So that's where we're at. And
I think too, George, like how can you use it or what you're suggesting to other people? Like, again, I'm going to say AI is not God, would I say? And we are the mouse. I think it's an orientation of our thought process.
What I'm using it for is creating all these videos. Like I can make amazing amount of marketing videos by just putting my photo into Soro, and you can create actual little movies. And it's like amazing. So you can continuously create content at no cost to you. You don't have to hire a video team. You don't have to go to a studio. You just sit there and with your phone and create all this amazing content. So that's one way to do it, is to promote yourself, promote your products and services and yourself using AI. It's so simple now.
And Ducky, you had your thumbs down on that one. What are your thoughts, Ducky?
So I run a marketing agency and I'm across North America, Europe, and Asia. I've got offices and a lot of my team suggested AI. We tried AI. One of the biggest problems is the reliability on it and thinking the video is actually good without realizing that you can tell the difference between an AI video most of the time and a real video. And subconsciously, when you look at an AI video, that attraction is not there anymore. So when companies are using AI and these days for creation, Sometimes it works, but most of the time people are seeing it's AI and they go next to the next one. They don't like the ads. They can see it's fake. It's just not there yet. And at the same time, people can see their real versions of things, right? Even when we're running social media platforms for clients and we use real photos that they take versus the clients that choose to go with AI, you can see a massive difference of engagement to the real photos. And yeah, visually, when you look at it, it doesn't look that good, but because it looks real, it's more attractive, especially to promote the business, right? People have this idea of AI, and I think it's really played out because a little bit off topic is I had a few meetings with software companies to get their softwares, and one of their main pitches to me, and one of the first pitches was, the reason we're different is because we have 24-hour live human support. So there's a lot of people reverting back to humans just for that human interaction because it is more refined, it is more real, and it is more trustworthy, right? So yeah, you can create cool videos, but at what scale and for what? So there's a purpose and there's a place. But when you're using AI to do all your marketing, unfortunately, I'm sorry, it's not going to be as profitable as hiring a company to do it for you with real videos and real photos.
I suggest you do all of it. In fact, one of the things that I learned about social media, I went to some of these seminars and webinars, and some of the experts that have been most successful say it's just making a lot of noise. You can use AI, you don't have to do professional, you can do professional, you can do all of it. The thing is to create a lot of it. You have to get above everybody else. You got to get on the top of the mind. You got to get people to keep seeing you, keep hearing you. In fact, at this conference I went to, they said before you even launch a product, just start marketing it on social media and on email blasting and everywhere. Just start telling people about it way in advance because people don't have an attention span to really pay that close to the specifics of what's going on. They just hear it. They just see it. It just boom. And that's what I learned. Just make a lot of noise.
Well, I got my degree in marketing, and one of the things, and I work in media, and it's good to have exposure. But what happens with a lot of people making noise is that they don't have the infrastructure to support the business that they attract. And people who just do videos or repurpose content, if they don't understand their strategy and even the problems that they solve, then they're not going to go very far. They're not going to be able to maintain the level of attention that they get because they don't have systems in place in order to receive the people that they get as clients. And I think another thing is we focus more on quantity rather than quality. Because if you have good quality, you don't need a lot of marketing. Word of mouth is still the best thing around. And so we forget these things when we are conditioned to believe, I got to be here, I got to be there. We're trying to serve all these different audiences that may not even be the people that we can benefit from having as clients. So I just wanted to add that also.
But yeah, you got to have both. You got to have a good product and service, and you got to make a lot of noise and get a lot of exposure. So yeah, a lot of people, like you said, they get a lot of exposure, but then they slowly peter out because they don't have a good back end. But yeah, you got to have both. There's no doubt about that.
One of the things is, if we forget, is about 75 to 80% of our human interaction is based on our subconsciousness. So when we're looking at things and we just see it, yeah, we see through it, but subconsciously we record it. And our subconscious is going to give us the emotion to either move forward, to click on that, because advertising is emotions. That's all it is, right? And if we can hit those emotions properly, then that's where the money comes in. But with AI, subconsciously, unfortunately, that's what I keep on saying is, yeah, you're putting marketing out there, but if it seems fake, your natural instinct more likely will be like, oh, yeah, no, without you even knowing that you naturally did that in the back end of your brain that it just said, no, I don't like that. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm not connected to it. And that's what a lot of people I find miss when it comes to advertising, is those tiny little nuances that make our decisions.
No, you're right about that. But the problem is that it's going to overwhelm us and we get so used to it. Like, for example, when I call up people from going to their website, I always, almost 75% of the time now, I get an AI customer service person. At first, I hated it. I would say, I'm not even going to do business with this company because I got to talk to their AI agents. And now I just kind of am starting to get used to it and I don't even pay attention to it anymore. So I think they're just going to overwhelm us. We're just going to get so used to it, it's not going to matter.
And that's very interesting, George. But let me ask you a quick question. You're so used to this AI, but now when you call a company and you get a real person, how does that make you feel?
I can tell you this honestly, and I'm on the phone all the time calling up new companies and businesses. I have not got one person. I'd say 99% of the time, I don't get a person except at a doctor's office. When I do call a doctor's office, there is usually a person that'll answer. But businesses in general, first of all, they don't put an email address on their website. They don't even put a phone number. I'd say, again, 95% of websites I go to have no phone number anywhere.
What?
On these businesses. Go to a website. Just go to any business website. See if you can find a phone number.
My hosting has over 7,000 websites.
And I used to run a web company.
I've never seen a website without a phone, like, except Google. Like, honestly, with Google and the big corporations, but otherwise, I have never seen a website without a phone number or an email or both.
Okay, I go to WeFunder and Start Engine. I have a business TV show called America's Real Deal. It's like Shark Tank on steroids. And we're constantly calling businesses all the time that are on WeFunder, Start Engine, and I cannot find phone numbers. I have to go into Google and see if I can find it some way else. It's not on their websites. I do this all day long. All day. I call up probably 5-10 companies. I try to call 5-10 companies a day. And then on top of that, they have no email address and they have a registration form where you fill it out and I don't get any response back.
Oh my gosh, I just went through this. He's right. It's like, it's very frustrating, right?
Yeah, and I used to hate it, but I got used to it. I'm so used to it now. I'm going like, oh, okay, that's just the way it is. So they program me to accept it.
Yeah, no, you know what? And going back to my point, and this is going to be changing very soon, I find, is we had this huge hit with AI. And now when I call software companies, one of their sales pitches, first sales pitch is we have 24-hour live human support. You've never heard that before AI. So I think that's huge.
I love that.
One thing, I think as soon as we tend to forget we are human beings and we are a different type of organic robot in a sense, right? And if we have another species per se for our robotics or AI taking over, we're naturally going to revert to what's comfortable to us because we have these tendencies of trends and going into what's new, what's hype, let's go into it. But then even kids with video games, kids play so much video games, but look at 5 years ago to now, kids are getting more outside now. It's like cigarettes. Look how big cigarettes were now. And now people are like, I don't really drink as much. I don't really smoke as much. Like, I think we slowly go to these trends and these cool things. And then when it gets too much, we naturally revert to our natural habitat, right?
Yeah, trends come and go. There's no doubt about that. And where we're headed, though, is, like I said, the key is you just have to figure out how to adapt to all this stuff. You got to use it. It's not going to go away.
100% agree.
Yep. So that's where we're going through the evolution of where it's going to be. Now, like I said, Elon Musk just recently said that in about 5 years, there's going to be hundreds of thousands of robots all over the place. That's another thing we're going to have to adapt to. I don't know what that's going to turn into. That's crazy. It's hard to project.
Yeah, look, there's a whole other
we're
there, right? What happens in Vegas?
I know
we're everywhere.
Yeah, it's going to get even weirder. We think it's weird now. It's going to get really strange.
Yeah. We also have Shadows on the stage. Shadows is a regular guest who comes on here and has a lot of thought about AI as well. I know you do. Shadows, thank you for joining us and being patient. Do you have a question for George or even a thought you want to share?
I'll go with Thought because he talks somewhat along the lines of me. I think we're not that far apart in age. I use AI a lot. However, I'm also probably a semi-Luddite when it comes to phones. Phones are for making phone calls and using text, and I will only rarely answer phone calls, so using text. And social media, I will scan it. I might even put the odd comment, but beyond that, I could care less about social media. I will interact with people in immersive chat rooms before I will spend time trying to chase people on social media. So I guess I'm a bit of a mix.
That's one thing that I learned today is everybody that I communicate with, I have to learn what's the best way to contact them, by phone, by text, by email, by Facebook Messenger, by WhatsApp. I got by each one of my key people, I have to learn the best way to communicate with them. Now that's crazy. In the old days, it used to just be phone. You pick up a phone, you called everybody.
Yeah.
Now you got to learn what somebody will respond to.
Yeah,
That alone
I
is
will rarely
frustrating.
answer a phone
I
call.
don't know if that's
You're
any
over
different
this.
today than it has been. It's always been that way.
No, I said in the old days, it was a phone. Everybody just used the phone. That was it. You called somebody on the phone. Nowadays, you got all these different ways to communicate. It's crazy.
Yep. Shadows, you were saying something?
I just said that. What did I say? I've forgotten now.
The different ways of communicating.
I will only answer a phone call that I actually know who's making the call. If the familiar name does not come up on the call display, it does not get answered. Just leave a message if you really want to hear from me. That's the way it is. Yeah, I'll respond to text if I know you. If I don't know you, you better explain who you are.
See, there you go. So somebody that knows you has to know how to communicate with you, right?
Yep.
Okay,
If
that's
only
what
they
I'm
can
saying.
call me, so that's not a problem.
So in other words, what I'm saying is in my circle, I have to know each person, their little nuances and how they prefer to be contacted. And like I said, that never was before. We didn't have that problem. It was just a phone.
Yeah, I agree. I have WhatsApp on my computer, and I put it there reluctantly, not because I wanted to use it, because there are 2 or 3 people that I communicate with. That's how they want to be contacted.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So I got to learn how everybody's communication vehicle is.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And that's frustrating. There's a lot of stress in that. Because then if you don't follow through with somebody the right way, they get mad. Oh, don't text me anymore. I don't pick up the phone. Oh my God. Everybody's irritating everybody else.
So isn't the answer a hybrid a little bit here where we've got real humans, but we're using AI to help accelerate or get more access to more people? Let me give you an example of this. Like one of my businesses is Live at Sea. It's a cruise condo educational site and Facebook group. And what we do is we have people go into the Facebook group and they talk and chat. Then I take those real conversations, real and raw conversations, and then we amplify by creating articles and we post them on Live at Sea, which get very good SEO ratings. Yeah, we used AI to help create the article, but this was real and raw information from humans who talked about this. So I think like almost anything we can do, like in networking, I was coming back at that question a few times with you there, George, but in networking, you're right, human to human, there's nothing better than that. But there's obviously a limitation with human to human. You brought up a number of things, there's different touch points. How do you use AI to leverage your networking? That's the big question.
Like I said, to do actual networking, it goes back to relationships, building relationships. And that, I don't think AI has a part in that. That's a human element that has to be developed over time and situational and transactional too. What are you going to do for me? What am I going to do for you? And I don't think AI really fits in there very well. I don't even know how you would use it for that.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, but I think there is an in between here. There is, okay, I'd like to have more followers on LinkedIn, for instance, and you personally have a lot of followers on LinkedIn. You don't have a personal relationship with all your 40,000 followers, correct?
Yeah, that's right. I just have, like I said, an inner circle of people that are my go-to people, and then you have the just your associates, just people you know, And then you have people in your database that you have no idea who they are. You just have their contact information.
Yeah.
So in order to get in that inner circle, it takes time. It takes, like I said, it's transactional and it's relationship building, and a lot has to go into it.
This was an interesting conversation. It definitely went in many different paths, and the community of Startup Club came together, and we had a very deep conversation. I feel like it'll be interesting to see the article and how the AI puts all this conversation together and publishes on Startup Club. Mimi's our editor on Startup Club. Even though we use AI to try to create these articles, we also we edit them, and I go through them and I add my stuff. Mimi adds her stuff, and we try to add some more stuff to it. But it's been very interesting. George, you're a fascinating individual. You're celebrating your 80th birthday pretty soon, and you're embracing AI. You're one of the top networkers I know in the world, and you've done such an amazing career. Any last words of wisdom for the rest of us?
One of the things that I'm also embracing is to train yourself in whatever area you want to be skilled. One of the things that I learned is there's too much people listening and talking and not enough training. So if you want to be a good salesman, a good father, a good mother, figure out how to train yourself to be that way. It's kind of like becoming a Navy SEAL in a certain aspect of your life. And I'm putting more time into training myself and stop listening and reading books and going to seminars and webinars and say, what do I got to do to become a better salesman or a better speaker? Start training instead of listening and talking. Start training. Train yourself to be something. There you
All
go.
right. Thank you for that close. It's been a great show. If you haven't already done so, the newsletter just came out today. It is a masterclass. Every single month, we do one newsletter a month. And this show will turn into an article, which will be in the newsletter next month. But go to startup.club, sign up to the newsletter. You can also find out about other great speakers who are coming on, like George. And if you're listening to this in podcast, you can come on stage, come onto the Clubhouse app, join us on stage, ask questions, share your experience, your advice, and we'd be happy to have you on. Thank you very much, my co-host.
Oh, yeah. One last thing, Colin. If anybody wants to get a hold of me, my website is theultimatenetworker.com. You can go on my website, see my books, and send in a request of whatever you want me to follow up with.
Sounds good. And also your LinkedIn too, right?
Yep. Oh, on LinkedIn also.
Do you do LinkedIn messaging? Like when people, I try to watch that, keep an eye open, because I get people from my book every week. I get somebody saying, oh, I've read your book and I loved it. And I do appreciate the feedback. Do you check your LinkedIn messaging as well?
Yeah, I do. Not as much, though. LinkedIn, I don't use as much.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So that website is, can you say it one more time?
Theultimatenetworker.com.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And we'll see you all next Friday, 2:00 Eastern.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.